Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bay Area Case Studies Virtual College Fair. We're so glad that you've joined us for this great presentation from 6 really fantastic colleges and universities. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. We are in a webinar format, so of course your camera and your microphone are off, so our presenters cannot see you, nor can they hear you, but they would love to hear from you. And so the best way to do that is to ask your questions using the Q&A on your screen. You can certainly ask those presenters at any time. So either before they present, after they present, while they're presenting, they would be happy to answer those questions that you have. Unfortunately, this is our last session for the night, so there aren't any more sessions to sign up for. But if there are schools that you missed or schools that you'd like to go back and review, all of the sessions have been recorded, and you can find those recordings at strivescan.com/BACS. So without any further ado, I'd like to introduce our first presenter from the University of Oregon.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm going to get my presentation all set up. Well, my name is Loretta Klosterman, and I am one of the regional admissions counselors for the University of Oregon. So what that means is I live right here in Northern California. I am your local admissions counselor. So if you are interested in the U of O and exploring the opportunity to apply, please do not hesitate to reach out to me for any reason. I'm truly here to assist you throughout the process. So the University of Oregon is located in the city of Eugene. We are 2 hours south of Portland and about 3.5 hours away from the California border. Just like anywhere in the Pacific Northwest, we are an incredible area for outdoor recreation. We have lots of hiking, biking trails close by to campus. We also have water sports like kayaking and river rafting, literally footsteps from the university. But we're also equidistant between the Cascade Mountains and the Oregon coast, and our students take full advantage of the ability to go snowboarding and skiing, even camping on the weekends on the Oregon coast. I will warn you, the ocean is much colder than it is here in California, so if you are brave enough to go swimming or surfing, I highly recommend a wetsuit. This is our incredible campus. Eugene really is that quintessential college town environment, very similar to a San Luis Obispo or Davis in that regard, where there is a strong sense of pride that Eugene is home to the University of Oregon. We are green in every sense of the word, so much of our kind of common community at the U of O has strong ties to being environmentally friendly. And with that, biking is actually the most common form of transportation at UO. We are an incredibly bike-friendly university and offer free public transportation to all of our students with your student ID. We are considered a mid-sized institution. Our total enrollment is 20,000. However, our undergraduate enrollment is just shy of 19,000. So we really do focus on that undergraduate education. So why do students choose the University of Oregon? One is we are a Tier 1 research institution. We're actually a member of the AAU, the Association of American Universities. We're one of 65 institutions in the United States and Canada to be an invited member of the AAU. As an invited member, we are being recognized for our excellence in academic research and education, and 73% of our undergraduate students are involved in some element of research. This could be partnering with a professor or doing your own independent research at the U of O. One of my favorite facts to share is that 40% of our research dollars goes to the College of Education. So really, regardless of what you study at the U of O, if you have an interest in research, you have the ability to do so. We do offer 168 academic programs. Some of the programs that we are most known for include business, architecture, marine biology, journalism, psychology, just to name a few. But you also don't need to know your major when you apply to the U of O. We really encourage our students to explore, and if that means taking that first year or 2 years to figure that out, you have the flexibility to do so without getting behind in a 4-year graduation plan. Something that I love about the U of O is we really encourage our students to have the outside of classroom experience. And one of those ways is through study abroad. We do offer over 300 study abroad programs in 80 different countries. So you can say that we do have ducks in all corners of the globe. We do offer traditional immersion style programs and like living with a host family, but we do also offer international internships. There is no doubt that our campus has tons of spirit and campus community. We do have over 300 student clubs and organizations, and we're also home to Division I athletics. We are most known for sports such as football and basketball, but we are most famously known for track and field. Fun fact, Eugene's nickname is Tracktown USA. We do require all of our first-year students to live on campus. That really is to establish that strong sense of community. We also offer academic residential communities, which are themed living learning environments, which give you the opportunity to live with others who have similar interests and who are like-minded. Each academic residential community does have a faculty advisor, and at least one class that you do take your first year will be in relation of the theme of the ARC that you do live in. Some examples include our global scholars, our LGBTQIA+ scholars, art and design, entrepreneurship, just to name a few. We also want to make sure you have that return on investment. So we do have incredible career services to work with our students to start thinking about life after graduation. Every single academic term, we put on job fairs and internship fairs so our students can network and learn about those opportunities. We also offer things like mock interviews and resume building workshops so our students are confident and prepared when they start breaking into that professional world. Now, applying to the U of O, we do require these high school requirements, really straightforward, very similar to A through G here in high school. But we do what's called a holistic evaluation. So we really do want to get to know you as a student as well as an individual. So we're going to take into consideration each part of your application when evaluating our students for admission. These are our deadlines to be aware of. We do have an early action deadline and a regular decision deadline. We have no preference on when you apply to the University of Oregon. We just really want you to apply, and our admissions does stay the same, or admissions rates stay the same with each deadline. The benefit of early action is just that you get to hear back early. Now, I also want to mention that we are a permanently test optional institution. So students do not have to submit test scores in order to be eligible for admission. And when I say optional, I truly mean optional. No student would be negatively impacted for not submitting test scores. And lastly, I will end with the Oregon Guarantee, and that is fixed tuition. So the cost of tuition is fixed through your degree or up to 5 years of education. So it is our commitment to you to be able to financially plan for college. Thank you again for being here, and I'm going to put my contact information in the chat. Go Ducks!
Thank you so much. Next, we'll hear from Union College.
Hello and welcome to Union College. I just need to share my screen, and here it comes. Union College is in upstate New York, next to the state capitol in Albany. Union has 2,150 students and an incredibly beautiful campus, well represented in this particular slide. We have a suburban feeling campus in a small city, Schenectady, New York, with urban flair. Don't tell me it doesn't have that. We have more than 40 restaurants, a Broadway theater in downtown Schenectady, a first-run movie theater, lots of internship opportunities in our city, and also volunteer opportunities. But the heart of Union is unquestionably the connection that students have with faculty members. Classes are small at Union. 24 is the average introductory class, 14 is the average size of an upper level class. The faculty to student ratio is going to be 1 to 10 students. Every single student has a faculty advisor, or maybe more than one. And every student also has a class dean, affording them the opportunities of the entire community. So the class deans are going to link you with opportunities from recreational sports to what's going on in the Career Center. We really establish the close working relationships that lead to success in terms abroad, in research opportunities, and ultimately in careers at Union. One thing that's really important to us is you're going to come with some kind of academic interest. And my dear friends, if you have not picked some kind of academic interest to talk to us about, make something up. It will save you so much time during your college search to tell us that you're interested in one subject. Why do we ask you about what you're interested in? So we talk to you about that area of your studies. But at Union, I promise you that we want you to pursue what your first area is, but we want you to add a second or maybe even a third field as you're looking at the college. You may want to do a double major, you may want to do a major and a minor, you may want to do a major and 2 minors. Lots of students add additional programs because they go through our common curriculum and take a course that's of interest and get excited about a subject that they had never explored before. On the left of this slide is a new building at Union, the Integrated Science and Engineering Complex. What a popular place for students, of course, to do sciences and engineering, but also to hang out and study. I think the success of the building is unquestionably that it's next to the Starbucks, but really there are wonderful spaces all around our traditional campus, which have been completely renewed and really afford students lots of places to get together, work together in different ways. At Union, there are a variety of forms of immersion, but the big three that I'll talk about is, first of all, that students, 100% of second year students, the sophomores, do research at Union College. 85% of the students continue and do a senior thesis or a senior project. 20% of the students at Union study engineering, and we have 4 ABET certified degrees in engineering: biomedical engineering, computer engineering, electrical engineering, and mechanical engineering. And we'll be adding civil engineering in the next year as another ABET certified degree. So you have wonderful engineering opportunities where students are doing senior projects. You have amazing science equipment, from a observatory to a proton accelerator. We have 5 different maker spaces and lots of students who are maker leaders on our campus. Incredible opportunities in those areas. But you may just as well be doing research with a social scientist, where every single student who's a major in any social science is going to do a 2-term senior thesis. So it's a wonderful preparation for a career. It's a great capstone at Union. Second, 60% of the students at Union go on our own terms abroad, and they go to 40 different countries, either for a full term of study or a mini term. The last piece is that 85% of Union students do internships. And I know that career development and placement is a great concern to all families. What we're looking at is 50 internships within walking distance of our campus, the whole Handshake network that belongs to small liberal arts colleges like ours, which offers internships across the country, certain kinds of terms away. We have a term so near to you in Silicon Valley where students intern in biomed companies, and they also take a course with an anthropologist from Union who talks about the ethnography of Silicon Valley. So the internships lead to careers, and we have wonderful network of alumni who help with that. At Union, of course, we have a fantastic community, Division III sports, Division I men's and women's ice hockey. But we have a special thing called a social house system called Minerva houses. Each house has 300 plus student members, faculty and staff are affiliated, and each house has $20,000 to spend on events during the year. So those events could be a music event, they could celebrate any minor holiday, you could do pumpkin carving or decorating cookies for Halloween, you could do Oktoberfest. There are all kinds of events that take place in each of these houses. So some that are very silly, of course, very popular, are around food. There's Milkshake Monday or Waffle Tuesdays. You may be a person who wants to watch a sporting event with food, or you might want to be a person who watches The Bachelor in food. So Union is a highly competitive college. We'd welcome you to visit. We're old-fashioned and do interviews, and we'll look forward to having you explore Union more. I'll put my information in the chat. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next presenter is from Seattle University.
Hello, everyone. Give me one moment. Great. Hello and good evening. I'm here to introduce you to Seattle U. We are one of 27 Jesuit Catholic universities in the United States. For those of you unfamiliar with Jesuit education, the Jesuits have a 500-year history of transformative, global, and holistic education. You do not need to be Catholic to attend. In fact, only about 25% of our student body is. Our core values of social justice, service, global leadership, diversity and inclusion, and care for the whole person really unite us as a community. And of course, we cannot talk about the city of Seattle, or excuse me, Seattle U, without talking about the city of Seattle. We are right up the hill from downtown in a very cool intersection of neighborhoods in the city. It's very easy to walk down the hill to Pike Place Market, jump on the bus and go to the Fremont Market, or see your favorite band perform on a Thursday night. And I think that is really why students choose Seattle U. If you're looking for the best of both worlds, if you really value being part of a close-knit campus community and want that traditional campus experience, but at the same time can't imagine just staying on campus and want to live and work and be in the world around you. Students navigate that each and every day at Seattle U. They spend all day in class or studying in the library or collaborating on group projects, and they walk 3 blocks off campus that night and they're at some of the city's best music venues, restaurants, art galleries, and so much more. You'll see that we are a small, medium-sized university, about 4,700 students in our undergraduate programs, spread out across 4 undergraduate colleges with around 65 degree programs, everything from nursing to civil engineering, computer science, psychology, business analytics, and so much more. Transitioning to academics. Obviously, your academic experience will be at the heart of your college experience. So some things to know about us. First, we are direct entry in the admissions process if you know what you want to major in. It's especially important for our 4-year cohort in nursing. However, for just about every other major, you can change your major or declare your major once you join us. We have a really unique program. It's the only one like it on the West Coast, and it's called Pre-Major Studies. It's an academic and advising program just for undecided and undeclared students. So you will have an advisor that works you through the discernment process of finding a major that makes sense for your own unique academic interests. Another thing that will be central to your academic experience at Seattle U is our core curriculum, which spans 12 courses over the 4 years you are with us, ending in a capstone project in your major where you tie it all together. And it's everything from classes like the rhetoric of sustainable food, art for social change, God, money, and politics, and so much more. 4 out of 5 of our students will take some type of service learning class or participate in a meaningful service activity during their time at SU. So you'll very much be pushed beyond the classroom to see firsthand how what you're studying affects the communities, neighborhoods, and city that we're a part of. You'll also have access to great advising, both academic advising within your college, but also pre-professional advising. And additionally, regardless of your major, you'll note numerous opportunities for internships, service learning, and clinical placements. Students get a lot of opportunities to network with our alumni and pursue and explore what they want to do. But obviously, you'll also have fun on our campus. While we are in the heart of the city, you never have to leave campus. You will always be busy. We do have a residential requirement for 2 years. Your first year, you'll be in one of our 8 themed halls in our 3 residence halls for first-year students. So you might find yourself in the social justice hall or the arts and culture hall and find community in really unique ways. We have more than 130 different student clubs, as well as specifically 25 cultural and identity-based groups. We have a student-run radio station, newspaper, and musical production company, as well as we are Division I, but also have a really active club and intramural sports program. Transitioning a bit to the admissions side of things, we have two deadlines. One is early action, November 15th. You'll hear from us right around the last week of December if you choose that. Otherwise, regular decision candidates are notified the first week of March. You learned a lot tonight about holistic review. So you'll note that we look at absolutely everything you submit to really get to know you in the admissions process. We are test optional. So when we think about everything you see here, imagine each piece is a piece of the pie. We take out those test scores and just look at everything else a little bit more as we get to know you as an applicant. We know that cost and affordability is a huge part in determining fit. While we are a private school with that bigger price tag, we'll also note that 91.5% of our students receive some type of financial aid. We have merit scholarships that are automatic at the time of admission, as well as a really unique scholarship and cohort program called the Sullivan Leadership Award, which is given to 9 of our incoming first-year students each year. It covers tuition and room and board, and it's for students that really embody who we are as leaders in our mission as a university. And with that, I'm here just to wish you best of luck in your college search. I hope to welcome you to campus someday and know that we are here to support you as you get to know Seattle U and the many other institutions here today.
Thank you so much. Our next presenter is from Brandeis University.
Hello, everyone. Let me just share my screen very briefly. All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Schulman. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm a Senior Assistant Director of Admission at Brandeis University. I'm also a Bay Area native. So just hello to all of my neighbors or one-time neighbors. A little bit about Brandeis I'm excited to share with you this evening. We're located just outside of Boston. We're just 9 miles outside of Boston. So you have your own suburban campus with really easy access to the major higher education hub or mecca of higher education. Depending on where you draw the boundary in the greater Boston area, there's 40 to 60 colleges. So it's very lively, very student oriented, very dynamic. A lot of things are geared towards students in the greater Boston area. Brandeis in particular is built upon kind of 3 major values. A little bit of brief history. We were founded in 1948. We're a pretty young institution, but we were founded at a time where a lot of elite colleges and universities in the United States operated under a quota system. So students would be admitted based on their own, based on their race or ethnicity, their religion, if they were male or female, things like that. As we know, that practice is discriminatory in nature. One group that was being discriminated against in the quota system was the American Jewish community. So the American Jewish community came together to create Brandeis as a response to those quotas. So all students would get in based on their own academic merit and not based on their religion or color of their skin or if they were male or female. We are not a Jewish institution. We are non-sectarian. There is no religious affiliation with Brandeis, no religious component or classes or anything like that that are required, but we just attribute our founding to our American Jewish community. That said, we're built upon 3 major values, 2 of which I'll highly hit on here. One is that we are the 2nd smallest Tier 1 research university in the United States. Tier 1 research universities put a lot of money and resources towards research, whether that's the hard sciences, social sciences, humanities, fine arts, every major needs research. The average size of a Tier 1 school in the United States is 26,000 undergraduate students. Brandeis is just 3,600 undergraduate students. So you have the funding and resources of a big school at the size of a little bit larger than a liberal arts institution. You're not competing against hundreds of other graduate students or undergraduates for those positions in the labs and then among our 30 research centers and institutes on campus. There is also a huge emphasis on social justice on our campus. You'll find values of equality, diversity, really woven into the Brandeis experience, both academically and socially. Brandeis students come to Brandeis because it's this incredible platform for launching initiatives, for advocacy, for changing something, for fixing something in the world, whether that's LGBTQ rights, environmental sustainability, finding a cure for something, working with refugees, really whatever your passion or cause is that you feel connected to, you'll find that Brandeis has a big emphasis on those social justice initiatives. Looking at our academics, we have a core curriculum. It's very flexible. It's very interdisciplinary. A number of our courses are cross-listed in different departments. A politics class is not going to be strictly politics. It's going to pull from global studies, East Asian studies, philosophy, psychology, economics, to really give you this well-rounded experience in the classroom. Some of the highlights of our core curriculum include a health, wellness, and life skills component where you can learn things like financial literacy, stress management, all types of things like that. Another highlight is our university writing seminar, where instead of learning document-based questions and how to respond to those, you can take on writing topics like Disney and DC villains, biomedical ethics, pop culture, and we're making sure that our students are really excited about learning to write, but in areas that they're excited to learn about. Over half of our students do double major. Maybe you find things that pair really nicely together. Maybe you like neuroscience and psychology. Maybe you like economics and business, but maybe you have interest on polar opposite ends of the academic spectrum. Maybe you like theater and chemistry, or English and computer science. You'll find that Brandeis students are oftentimes combining things that don't necessarily pair in a traditional way. In terms of what on-campus looks like, you are guaranteed 2 years of housing on campus. However, 80% of our students do live on campus all 4 years. Really easy access, like I said, into the city of Boston. There's over 200 student clubs and organizations ranging from business and academic-based groups to media and publications, to spiritual and affinity-based groups, to completely random ones. My personal favorite is the Cheese Club. They import fancy cheese from around the world and then they eat it, and that is their club. All of our clubs are inclusive, and that's the only way that they get funding from student government. So going back to our values and founding pieces, all of our clubs are open to everybody, which is really wonderful. The class of 2020, in the middle of a pandemic, 94% of them were employed or in graduate school, medical school, or law school within 6 months of graduation. Our Career Center is with you for life. So myself, as a Brandeis alum, I can go back to the Career Center when I'm in my 60s and want to change my career. They report that a number of alumni do utilize those resources. And just to wrap us up here, we have been test optional for a number of years, like we talked about earlier. We are a holistically driven institution. We review your entire application. We do meet full need. So you have to submit your FAFSA and CSS profile. The FAFSA is government funding. The CSS profile is institutional funding. And whatever your family can afford, if you were admitted to Brandeis, we agree to meet the rest of that demonstrated cost. So with that, I will add my contact information into the chat as well. And thank you for stopping by.
Our next presenter this evening is from Johns Hopkins University.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Krista Grubb. I'm an Assistant Director of Admissions at Hopkins and also an alum. Today, when we're talking about Hopkins, we are mainly focusing on Homewood, which is the undergraduate campus. It's its own campus located in the northern part of Baltimore City. However, the Hopkins network is wide and vast. The undergraduate campus is about 5,400 undergraduate students. However, the Hopkins campus has hundreds of thousands of alumni, faculty, staff, etc. On the Homewood campus, we have two schools. We have the Krieger School of Arts and Sciences and the Whiting School of Engineering. However, when you apply to Hopkins, you're applying to the institution as a whole. So you're not applying into one of those two schools or even directly into a major. The one exception to that is biomedical engineering. You are directly applying into that major. But for all other majors, once again, you're applying to the institution as a whole. The reason for that is that it goes back to our liberal arts background. So when you leave today, I want you to remember an equation. Liberal arts plus hands-on experiences equals JHU. So let's dive into that first part of liberal arts a little bit deeper. So for us, liberal arts means that you are learning how to think analytically, think strategically, write well, and gain all those skills that will make you adaptable for any field, just no matter what you decide to pursue with your major and minors. With that, you're also learning to see the connection between all the different fields. And so our curriculum is set up to mirror that goal. We have a flexible distribution system. So what that means is that you will take classes across the humanities, social sciences, natural sciences, engineering. We call those buckets, but you are not told which specific classes you have to take in those buckets. So there's not a core curriculum. You are selecting every single class that you are taking within those buckets. And so you still get that breadth in your curriculum curriculum, you're seeing how different fields connect, but you're doing it with specific topics that you find interesting. And so this allows you to have a lot of independence and craft your education to match what you are specifically interested in. And that may be a combination of different areas. Over 60% of our students double major or pursue multiple minors, and you can do that across both schools. It's very common for our students to do that, even in very dissimilar areas. Because the students are selecting every class is dynamic. The students are excited to be there, add their perspective. And also you get to know top tier professors because they are small classrooms. It's a 7-to-1 student faculty ratio. And so you're getting to know professors like Chuck Bennett, who won a NASA Achievement Award for finding cosmic microwaves. He teaches one of our intro level physics courses. Going off of that, these professors will help set you up with opportunities with hands-on experiences. So seeing the practical impact of what you're learning outside the classroom. So professors oftentimes put you in contact with their network, but we also have an office called the Hopkins Office of Undergraduate Research on our campus. That's a tongue twister to help set our students up. Research is really a way of thinking and a way of life at Hopkins. As the first research university in the country, we are still to this day the most federally funded. We spent over $2.5 billion with a B in research this past year, and our undergraduates have access to all of that. So not just what's on the Homewood campus, but across the entire Hopkins network, as well as their own grants. And research is asking innovative questions that have never been asked before. So whether that's in a wet lab, whether that's in humanities, social sciences, whatever that is, you can pursue that here on your own or underneath one of our top tier professors. Internships are another great way to get that hands-on experience. And we have both thousands of established companies in the city, both for-profit and nonprofit. And we have different offerings to help put our students in contact with those offices. Our students are not just making an impact on our campus through the academic classrooms, but they're also making an impact outside the classroom. Our students are leading over 400 different clubs. And what I really want you to walk away remembering is that it's student driven and student led. So for example, we have the largest student run fair in the country. And so it is our students who are doing the entire planning for that, managing a budget of $180,000. They are marketing, scheduling, all those different pieces. However, our students are also making an impact in the city of Baltimore. Baltimore is a really unique place to be a student. It's not only a college town, which makes it vibrant, lively, also financially feasible to live. It's a lot cheaper in Baltimore than out here in the Bay Area. But it's also a place where students' voices are loud and heard. As a young person, your voice is not drowned out, rather the opposite. Our students are changing policies in the city. We have a very young mayor, he's in his 30s. We are changing sustainability efforts in the city. So you get to see the real impact around you starting day one freshman year, and our students get to be a huge piece of that. So hopefully this is the beginning of the conversation for you. If you're thinking about Hopkins as a fit, definitely look at these different deadlines. These were the dates for the last year, but it'll be similar next year. Another piece of fit is that financial fit. So I want to point out that Hopkins is able to meet 100% of demonstrated need. And we are able to do that through work study, grants, no loans. So our students are able to graduate Hopkins completely debt-free, and we are very lucky to be in a small cohort of schools that has that luxury. You'll see here as well that there's a sticker price to the institution, but that's not what the average student is paying. The average family pays about $48,000, or rather is given a grant of $48,000. And then lastly, I want to leave with this. Feel free to take a screenshot. We have a college planning toolkit, and so being here is a great first start, but we definitely recommend going to our website, whether you decide to apply to Hopkins or not. It has essays that worked pages. We offer application workshops, so it's a great resource as you're beginning your process. But with that, thank you so much for coming tonight, and I will put my contact information in the chat.
Thank you, Krista. And our last presenter tonight is from Clark University.
All right, everybody. Hope you're all having a good evening. My name is Jess Howland, and I'm the Associate Director of Admissions here at Clark. So the first thing that you should know about Clark is our motto. And our motto is challenge convention, change the world. And that is the reason behind everything that we do. And for students who want to learn how to change the world, who want to learn how to use their talents and their gifts to make the world better, Clark is the place that can show you how to do that. So just some quick facts about us. We are a small liberal arts-based research institution with just under 2,300 undergraduates and about 800 graduate students. We're probably best known for the major of psychology. We have the distinction of being the only university in the US where Sigmund Freud lectured. And Sigmund Freud has become our school's unofficial mascot. We have a very large statue of Sigmund Freud in the middle of campus. Officially, our mascot is the cougar, but unofficially, it's Sigmund Freud. Outside of psychology, some of our other well-known majors are things like geography, business management, international development, political science. You can see that there's a real mix to those top majors. And that's kind of the beauty of being at a liberal arts school, is that you have access to a lot of different majors and there's a lot of strengths in different areas. To get into a little bit about our undergraduate program, our educational model is called Liberal Education and Effective Practice, or LEAP. And what that means is it combines a very traditional liberal arts education where students take classes in a range of subjects. And it combines that with out of the classroom experiences that give you things to put on your resume and experiences that are going to make you really set up well for what comes after you graduate, either graduate school or employment. We start off in the very first semester. All of our first year students take a first year intensive course, which is a very small course, usually capped at about 16 students. And that's designed to really get you introduced to the academic environment at Clark, but also to how advising works and how you're going to have a whole network of folks around you that are really going to be helping you succeed and helping you find those experiences. Some of the first year courses are really interesting. This year we had one that was called The History of Pandemics from AIDS to Zika, which was very timely. You can take this class on anything you want. Some students come in with a major in mind. They might take their first year intensive in this area. Other students are undecided, which is totally okay. And they might just take a class that sounds really interesting. All of our students complete what we call the Program of Liberal Studies, which are courses in 9 different areas that they have to complete in addition to the courses for their major. So the areas are very liberal. They're broad categories, things like aesthetics or science or historical or diversity and inclusion. And you get to pick the classes that you want to take to meet those requirements. So every semester, you'll see that there'll be a broad range of courses that'll meet those requirements. So nobody's telling you you have to take this class or that class. You're allowed to pick classes that make sense for you, that make sense for your academic program and your interests. For students that come in undecided, the Program of Liberal Studies is a really helpful framework for finding your major. And we actually encourage students to stay undecided for that first year and kind of explore different areas. If you do have a major in mind or you know what you want to study, you can absolutely start taking those classes your first year. And the Program of Liberal Studies requirements will give you ways to kind of think outside the box or take classes that maybe you just sound cool and you've never really explored before. The other part of our education, the effective practice model, a lot of our students are going to find that through the POP courses, or problems of practice. These courses are designed to give you experience outside the classroom. One of the benefits of these courses is students get to learn a lot about Worcester, the city that we're located in, and they get to see what businesses and schools and nonprofit organizations are doing with, and they get to solve real problems and see the impact of their work on a community or a group of people. So our students will also complete a capstone project before they graduate, which allows them to kind of synthesize all of the work that they've been doing for a couple of years, make sense of that, and kind of demonstrate to the community what they've been doing. The capstone project varies depending on your major. You know, you might do something very traditional like an honors thesis or a research paper. Other students might do something more creative, such as write and direct a play or put together a body of musical compositions. Totally up to you. You're going to have a lot of advisors who are going to be able to kind of talk you through that and get you ready to take that step. Our students are really well equipped to graduate and go off into the world and make a difference. 97% of our students are employed in graduate school or doing some sort of internship within 6 months. And it's because of the experiences that they're having as an undergraduate. Taking part in those problems of practice courses allow them to network and make connections, but also build up their resumes. So by the time they graduate, they have a lot of experiences that they can demonstrate to future employers or graduate schools that they've already had these experiences as undergraduates. A lot of our students as undergraduates also do research, and that can often lead into great opportunities for graduate school. Clark, being both an undergraduate as well as a graduate institution, has its own graduate programs. Clark students are able to take part in the 5th year master's program, which is an accelerated degree. You complete your master's in 1 year. And if you're accepted to the program, you actually don't pay tuition for that 5th year. So essentially your master's degree is tuition free. And that's offered in 14 different areas, from the hard sciences like biochemistry and physics to things like teaching or management. And a very high percentage of our students, about 1/3, will actually stay and take part in that master's program. Our students are super engaged in the community, in clubs and sports. We have over 130 different clubs and 17 varsity sports. We are a Division III school for sports. And our clubs range from beekeeping to cultural groups to student council. Anything you can probably think of, we have a club for it. And then, as you can see, our admissions process, there's a couple of different ways you can apply. There's some deadlines on there. We use the Common App. We try to keep things pretty simple. We don't want to make the process any more complicated than it needs to be. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to send us an email.
Outstanding. Thank you, ladies, all for your presentations and your information about your schools. At this time, I would love to see everybody back on camera. I do want to do a quick round robin for the students who have joined us today. And I would love to hear from each of you just a piece of advice that you would give these students as they're embarking on their college search. And we'll go ahead and go in the same order that you presented. So Loretta, if you want to start, what kind of advice could you give to these students in their college search?
I think one of the biggest pieces of advice I can give is don't hesitate to reach out to your admissions counselor who works at your high school. Know that we are your biggest advocates. We want nothing more to say yes to you. And just know that we really can be of assistance throughout the application process. And we're also really transparent. So those detailed questions, ask us. That's what we're here for. We definitely want to kind of ease the stress during this time. So that would be my advice to you all.
Anne.
So lots of students are looking for the quote unquote best college to get into, but as you're starting your search, find a college that is a just right college, a college that's in your wheelhouse, one which will be a super match for you and have what you want, and also a college that will for sure want you, so that you're sure that on your list of colleges, you have a wonderful place where you can really grow, blossom, find what you want. If you wish to apply to more competitive schools, you can go ahead, but be sure you've got that college that's going to meet those needs first. So turn it upside down.
Adrian.
Great, thank you. I would say in addition to being your advocate in the admissions process, admissions counselors are here to be a resource and connect you to our communities at large. So we love introducing you to current students, to faculty, to staff members, to really ensure that each and every one of your questions are answered. I know in our office, we have an email account managed by our students. We have an Instagram account where there's takeover each week to see life at Seattle U through a different lens. So whatever you're looking for, don't hesitate to ask. We really want to meet you where you are so you can really imagine yourself at each institution that you're considering.
Jessica from Brandeis.
The Jessica's in Massachusetts right now.
That's right.
Yeah, I think my piece of advice is to stay open-minded. There's so many different resources and options and types of institutions across the US and internationally, if you're even going to look there. Maybe there's programs you don't know of yet. Maybe you're not sure, especially at this beginning part of the process, what you're looking for. So I think as you're starting to look and engage with schools, as you start learning what you like, stay open-minded until you've kind of found what your niche is.
Krista, how about some advice from you?
My piece of advice would be start looking now, start figuring out what you like in terms of size, location, potential programs, because before you know it, next fall is gonna be here. So it's a great time now to start figuring out what you like, especially since a lot of schools are offering amazing virtual options. It's a great way to start to figure that out while you have a little bit more time on your hands this late spring, early summer.
And Jessica from Clark.
So I think there's a lot of pressure to find, the one school out there that's perfect for you. But the reality is there's so many options in the US and even abroad that there are probably many, many schools that would be a great fit for you, that you would get a wonderful education, have a wonderful experience. So try not to obsess too much over finding the one, and just kind of focus on, what you think you need to succeed, and then keep your mind open that there's going to be a lot of schools that are probably going to meet those needs for you.
And last but not least, check your email. We're going to send a lot of things via email. I know it's so 1985, but deal with it. You'll get there. So now that we are done, I would love for you to answer a quick survey for us. So when you click out of this session, you will get that survey to pop up. Take the few seconds to answer that so that we can continually improve our offerings for students. Again, this is our last session for tonight, so there are no more sessions to sign up for, but as I said at the beginning, we would love to have you view the recordings, and those can all be found at strivescan.com/BACS. So again, on behalf of all the presenters, our friends at StriveScan and the Bay Area Virtual College Fair, we're glad you joined us, and have a good evening.